Do you have a story, an idea, or a brand the world needs to hear? At Podcast Portugal, we help your message reach an engaged, global audience of English speakers passionate about Portugal. We have nearly 1,000 new subscribers every month and 7,000 downloads per episode. Your ad just doesn't air once, it stays evergreen in our back catalogue. Choose from pre-rolls, mid-rolls, post-rolls, or even full episode sponsorships. Podcast Portugal, Voices of Portugal, Stories for the World. Find out more at podcastportugal.com/contact. This is Justin West from Podcast Portugal. Today, we talk with Louie. Louie hosts a popular YouTube and Instagram account and TikTok channel on living in Portugal with his wife. Louie tells us a little bit, about your story and how did you come to running these very amusing, actually, Instagram account and tell us a little bit about your life story.
Hey, Justin, it's great to be on your podcast. So a little bit about my life story without getting too long about it.
Nah, man, you can go as long as you want. As long as you want, really.
I appreciate that. So I was born and raised in Fall River, Massachusetts. Big Portuguese community, especially heavy on the Azorean community. Born and raised there.
So you're friends with
whole life.
The Portuguese kids?
Yes.
They're from the same town, right?
Same town, same city, I should say.
You knew each other there? Or?
I think Brian and I, we graduated from the same high school, but he was a year or two ahead of me. So it's funny because you see these guys in town at Stop and Shop, the supermarket, all your life, and then one day you have something so in common that you guys unite later on in life. You know what I'm saying? Like the universe, God, whatever, has a certain way of like getting people to unite if they're meant to be. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. It was really cool meeting them. Great guys, hilarious. We went to this show in Porto and they brought us up on stage, did some improv. They are awesome. Cool. Awesome. So I was born and raised Fall River, Massachusetts. I lived there my whole life. Huge Portuguese culture. Obviously, both my parents are Portuguese. My dad is from São Miguel, Açores. My mom is from mainland here, Alentejo. She's from Vidigueira area.
Yeah, near me.
They, they're from opposite ends of Portugal, so to say, but somehow they made it work.
Yeah, how did they meet? There must be a really good story there.
Oh, man, it was like the Portuguese Tinder back then, through a letter and a picture that was sitting on. No, it really was, So they met through a picture and a couple of letters, and the next thing you knew, they were married, and here I am a year later, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's amazing.
So I...
But how would you even... I mean, how would your father get the address? Or it could have been your mother getting the address to your father. I don't know. But how would they even imagine getting the addresses or the contact? Was it some sort of family connection there?
It was crazy how these two met. And he went to like his godfather's house and he saw a picture of my mom because his wife, was somehow in relation to her. And they were like, oh, she's pretty and he's cute. And they wrote to each other a couple of times. He went there once to like meet her, and then he went there again and he married her.
Wow.
That's a big jump. That's a big leap.
It's huge. I mean, in those days, you couldn't really fly from San Miguel to, he must have gone by bus, right?
No. This was in the late 70s, 1980. So he definitely flew, but that was a big chance if you ask me,
Yeah.
That was So.
It's interesting to think why love would find that kind of way,
absolutely. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. My neighbor here in Alentejo, the like an older farming couple, they're like 76, 78, something like that. They literally, the road is about 5 meters wide. One grew up in one house and one grew up directly opposite in the other house. They've been married ever since. I think they got married I don't know, 18 or as soon as he came back from the Navy or something like that.
They probably have known each other literally their entire lives. Like you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you see that I live on a homestead. It's a farm, and our landlords they live in their house, on the property, and they are the same thing. They've known each other since they were children.
Yeah.
And they're still together.
Yeah.
it was a different way of life, different way of thinking. So it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see. Portuguese culture is so fun to me.
Yeah.
It's so fun. People stick to
We still learn about
their
it. I'm still
values.
learning about it, and it's one of
Yeah,
the big reasons I moved here was literally the culture and the family values. We live here with my wife, Rita, and our son, and we moved more to the Alentejo just to simply get more of that culture, more of that sort of family
more
feel, and that's
Portuguese.
yeah, that definitely. Um,
Yeah,
you know. So
absolutely, man.
is that why you moved to a homestead in which area?
No, no, no. I am in the area of Vid right now.
Okay.
We moved to a Vid, Portugal, but I'm more on the outskirts on the countryside.
Yeah.
When we first moved here this past February, we moved to city of Vid, so next to the big mall, Glycinius Plaza, and
Mhm.
we moved there into an apartment, and it was cold, it was rainy, it was windy, it was a rough winter apparently here. So it was a very tough and trying time those first 3.5 months when we got here. And then the apartment wasn't doing so well, so we kind of had some issues with it. The landlord was, cool enough to let us out of the agreement without any sort of penalty because of the issues that were arising in the apartment. So we looked on online and Lista, which is I find a pretty decent place to find rentals, and if you're looking for things to live in, we found this area here. And it was 20 minutes out of the way from everything. We were used to living in the city where we could just walk everywhere. And
Mhm.
we took a chance on it, and we fell in love with it. And yeah, we rented out from them, and it's awesome. From this older Portuguese couple, and,
Yeah.
and they haven't pretty much taken us in as their family. They are
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kindest people I've ever.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I start reliving my Portuguese life as a little kid. I start smelling the food and listening to the way she talks and these little jokes that wouldn't make sense in English but make all the sense in the world in Portuguese, and it
Yeah.
brings me back to an easier time in life when I was a child. So, and then my wife Morgan, she just is completely submerged in it. She's absolutely head over heels over the culture because I introduced her to it 4 or 5 years ago when we first met, and she's always been fascinated by it. How fun! She's always wanted to move to Europe, so this
Mhm.
was everything happens for a reason type moment.
Yeah, yeah. I think our great cultures in Europe, we've gone through so much, and I think there's a lot of
So
learning and
much.
a lot of suffering. I think that makes us and I think also the Portuguese psyche, if we talk in general terms, the culture, I think it's been through so much.
I think so
Time
too. I
time of
agree with that.
Salazar and a little bit of communism and a little bit of everything, and it's sort of people very resilient and very bonding on the sort of smaller community scale, which is I think is a super important thing to do.
It's like camaraderie here, I guess, is what I should say. The family values here is like nowhere I've ever seen, and it's
Mhm.
something I always wish I had because I had a very small family because everybody else was left in the Açores or in mainland Portugal. So I had a very small family, and I used to always live vicariously through schoolmates because they had big families, and I'd go celebrate with them sometimes. But so now I get to do that as an adult, and the good thing about that is I'm an adult now, so I've learned to appreciate every single thing that I get out of it, even if it's just meaningless conversation or if we're just sitting there and nobody's talking. There's really no awkward silence because you just learn to live in the moment with
Yeah.
them and what's around you, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, what made you sort of think about telling this story of your move here? Louie in Portugal is your Instagram tag. We'll leave all the links and stuff at the end, but just to sort of, I'm reading a lot of the titles, watched a lot of your reels here. You're sort of giving a really nice and it's super popular. Reading some of the comments, they love your take and your. It's quite kind of. I'm not going to say mundane, but it's like normal things like car maintenance in
Absolutely.
Portugal and a coffee break on Praia de Figueira. Um, and but it's really nice. You give a unique look on it and a unique take, and it's very popular. What made you come up with that kind of idea?
First, well, thank you very much for that, Justin. I appreciate that. That was very kind of you. I really
No
appreciate
worries.
that. My wife runs her Instagram, TikTok, her TikTok and Instagram handle as Morgan in Portugal. So one day I was trying, I had a few, like a couple Instagram handles, and one was on fitness, and I just couldn't figure it out. Just couldn't figure it out. And she's, we were talking, and she's like, "Why don't you just be you? People want to see Louie, because as a fitness guy, you're kind of like, I'm trying to be Louie, but I'm also trying to be Coach Louie in a way. You know what I'm saying? People want to be relatable. I think now I know when I watch something, I don't want to see outrageous things that to me are possibly unattainable. I want to see everyday life
Fake.
things
Yeah,
from
you don't want to see
everyday
fake
regular
stuff.
people.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Exactly, dude.
basically.
Exactly. So she said, "Why don't you?" We had just gotten a couple of peacocks
Oh,
on
wow.
the homestead on the farm, and she goes, "Why don't you follow me tomorrow? I'm going to make my video. Follow me and kind of just try it out." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna put my take. I'm just gonna be Louie. I'm just gonna be Louie, and I'm gonna go at 6:15 a.m. whatever it was. My hair was slicked back because I wet it, so it wouldn't look all bad. I had my robe on, my American looking coffee, a full cup, and I'm walking out there and just literally sharing my life, and people dug it. People
Yeah.
were like, "This is cool. This makes me think of my old times in Portugal, or my avo and my avu." And I'm like, "Wow, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing." Because if you can come to me and say, I've had so many people message me on these on social media saying, "Thank you. This video brought so many memories that I haven't thought of in years," and it gives me goosebumps right now. That I'm like, "Dang, I can resurrect those memories for you." Like, thank you for sharing that with me. Like, I think that's such a beautiful thing because I think that's fantastic. So
It's
anyway, getting to
refreshing.
that,
It's just so
I just kept,
refreshing,
it's
relatable,
refreshing.
refreshing.
It's
It's not sort
kind,
of
it's
like,
refreshing. I just wanna be as let's just all be kind. So let's just all try to be kind to each other. So anyway, like I was saying, I just started sharing my life every day. So I'm like, this is getting fun to me now.
Mhm,
Cause like people are like now I'm like getting to know this community. I'm getting to meet new people. I'm getting the community from Fall Riva, especially the Azorian community. They are starting
mhm.
to follow me and say like, yeah, that's how we say this. And we don't say it like that because, obviously Azorian have a different accent than the mainland. And I didn't even realize that honestly until I moved here. I knew we
Okay.
sounded a bit harsher. Maybe that's not the right word. A
Mhm,
little
mhm.
more brute, and no
Yeah,
disrespect because my dad's East
yeah.
And getting here, I realized that, and I'm like, man, this is quite different. So anyway, jumping back, not to jump around, but I just share my life every day. So it's like today we're gonna go out, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a cafe somewhere, and I'll just do a little documentation. Even if I don't use it, I still have some. So a
Yeah.
lot of this is documenting, and then put it all together so it makes sense in like a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. So it's become fun. It's become fun, and my wife and I do it together,
Mhm.
and we're meeting new people. We have fans. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And we
yeah.
went to the store. We went shopping the other day for a kitchen table. We met four different groups of people that are like, "Louie, Morgan, we follow you. We love you guys." And I'm just like, "Stop! I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed."
Yeah,
And I'm very, very, very humbled because I'm just a regular dude. I'm just a regular dude, just like everybody else. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm just trying to live my life day by day. You know what I mean, Justin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What did you do in, the US? What did you do in Massachusetts before you moved here?
Oh, man, I did a ton of things in Massachusetts. If you guys remember Blockbuster Video, right? I was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
manager of
yeah,
that at
no,
one
like,
time. Yeah, that was a fun time.
yeah,
Blockbuster Video, manager of that was my, like, first experience in the workforce. I was, like,
yeah.
19, 20, 21, not experienced at all, but it really set the ground for me, honestly, as far as getting to talk to people, learning people's attitudes, learning how people come at you because 'cause they're angry because they had a leave, how to
Yeah,
handle
yeah.
it better. Because I wasn't always, like you have to learn that somewhere. And then that wasn't working out. And then I did mortgages, and the housing bubble in the States burst. And, I did a few other things, and nothing was working out. So I joined the Navy, and
Okay, nice.
I did that for 10 years, and I got out, and I started working for the government at the shipyard in Virginia. So I moved away when I joined the Navy, and I didn't come. I was away from Fall River, Massachusetts, for about 15 years because
Mhm,
I got out of the Navy after 10, and then I lived another 5 in Virginia, and I started working at a shipyard in Virginia because if you're not aware, Norfolk, Virginia has largest ports,
mhm,
one of the largest ports I think in the world for shipping.
mhm.
So I started working at the shipyard, and I met my wife there, and we just one day I was talking to a coworker of mine, and he says, now we're in Virginia, mind you, so they sound, some people sound different. He goes, "Hey, Louie, you're Portuguese, aren't you?" And I was like, "I am." And he says, When you retire, you should think about moving there." And I was like, "You think so? Why, dude?" And he starts rattling off some things, how it's still one of the safest places. The food, as you know, he was telling me, is amazing. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. Retirement, Portugal, what I got to lose? So, I start chatting about it with my wife, who was my girlfriend, probably fiance at the time, probably girlfriend. And she was like, "Yeah, it's a great idea." And I was like, "What if we can make this sooner than later? Because who wants to do this when I'm 70?" You know what I mean? And I have a side business, a fitness business, fitness coaching online business, and from that, we were able to make this move a lot sooner than later. And I'm very blessed to have that in my life. And here I am showing you guys what it's like to be
Yeah.
Louis in Portugal.
Well, I think there's so many people that, that it's on their mind, like these days, there's so much change going on in the world. And I think we reassess our values. And there are so many people in a similar, that's why I was so interested in that side of the story, is sort of what made, what decisions you were making and how literally to take that step.
And if you don't mind me adding to that, Justin, it made all the sense in the world, right? So I could move to anywhere in Europe, right? My wife, and when we were just friends, she would always tell me, "Oh, I wish I could move to Europe. I wish I could move to Europe." She was manifesting this even before we got married. You see what I'm saying? So it made all the sense in the world that if we wanted to do a big jump like that, start our lives over, where else would we do it? I already speak the language, kinda. You know what I mean? I speak Azorian, but I could definitely get by. I obtained citizenship through descent. My
Yeah.
mother,
Okay.
my
Cool.
grandparents were Portuguese, so I had that path, which I didn't even know was a thing. So to the listeners out there, if they're like me and they have a parent or a grandparent that's 100% Portuguese and they can provide an official birth certificate,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah, come
great.
home. We
That'll
need more
definitely help you
people
out.
in
Exactly.
Portugal. Well, we need more
Exactly.
people to spread out a little bit more in Portugal. That's what we.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, my parents left here to go there and make a new life,
Yeah,
and times change, and now I leave there to come here to make a new
yeah.
life. You know what I mean? So
It's
I
interesting.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. Things turn in cycles, and I think Portugal definitely has a lot to offer. We definitely need we have a decreasing birth rate, which causes all sorts of economic problems for the future. But now we have a little bit of immigration. It is, a controversial thing depending what side of the fence you stand with regards to politics. But basically, we do need people being productive in society in Portugal to pay some taxes, and then we can all, or some of us can share some retirement fund. But more importantly, things like the health service and kind of things like that, it needs contribution. Um,
Yep,
but we're all going to
absolutely.
get really old, and there's going to be a lot of us, and not enough people paying into that big kitty. Um, yeah,
Exactly.
it's a difficult one, isn't it? The politics also. I don't know if you feel that when you're here. The politics here is sort of also going a little bit in crazy cycles. I don't really watch the TV here, so I don't really know too much
I
about
try to, I try to keep, just aware of what's going on, but I can't allow myself to become consumed in it
it. Yeah,
because
wise.
there's stuff going on here, there's stuff going on back home, there's stuff going on in other parts of the world, and it's just, I have to take a step back. I have to take a step
Yeah,
back. It's so bad for,
bad for your
for me
health.
personally,
Yeah.
my mental health. Yeah, it really is. It really is. So I just try and live my life as best I can because, yeah,
Just getting back,
it's better
getting
for
your
my mental health.
exactly, getting your fingers dirty in the ground, with planting
Yes.
things and local and family and your neighbors and the things
Yep.
that you can actually make
Exactly.
some change. And our networks, and my network with Podcast Portugal and the surf coaching and your network, you just make these little ripples of change, and hopefully we're going to combat all of this crazy AI generated nonsense that's going on all around us with all these.
It's very scary. It's very
Yeah.
scary if you, if you I think it's beneficial, and it's also it could be the opposite if it's allowed, which, anything can happen, so.
I am almost certainly convinced now that if you go on any social media site or YouTube or whatever, and you check through the comments, I would probably assess 80% of them, depending on which channel it is probably bots. Trying
It's scary.
trying
You
to
don't even know what you're
persuade me.
watching anymore, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I was driving around here in Portugal, my wife, and, it's funny because it seems like in some places they're more advanced, in some areas they're a little less, but they had these signs out, and it was for a store, and it was people on the signs, it's like kinda like a TV sign, right?
Mhm.
And they were all AI.
Oh,
They weren't even using real people, they were just using AI characters that they built, and I'm like, "Wow."
oh,
You could see, if you really pay attention, you could kinda see AI is a little off,
yeah, yeah,
but you could deceive a lot of people. You could absolutely
yeah.
deceive a lot of people.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
it.
it's done now.
It comes very, but actually, you saying that, my brother-in-law, he's Portuguese, and he was watching the TV and saw some advert, and he was like, "Ah, look, Justin's doing an advert. He's on TV. I didn't know that." So he contacted me. He said, "Ah, we saw you on an advert on TV." I said, "I never did any advert on
You're
TV. What you
kidding.
talking about?"
You're kidding.
And
They did one of you?
he found it online, took the video, and took a screen grab, and man, it looked identical to me, but just a little bit tweaked. And I was like, you know what?
Right.
I think that is being AI generated from some interview that I did for another advert or something. Absolutely
That
crazy.
is creepy, man. That is
Yeah,
very
really.
scary.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, why would they pay for a model and all of the difficulties you have with that when they can just generate something?
Then just type in a couple of things and boom, you got this generated thing walking around.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man, it's really crazy. Yeah, I mean, you don't have kids yet, but like, God, with my son, I'm thinking about his future and education and all this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Man, how do you prepare your son to fight
It's
the
scary,
good
right?
fight in the
It's
future,
scary. It's
Uh,
scary. I have, 3 cats, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think about that, and I'm like, that's kinda like what my wife and I go back and forth on is like, this is we don't nothing's for sure ever, right?
Mm,
So to bring a child into this world is very scary, and just to do it for selfish reasons, I guess. And I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, to each
mhm,
their own. I love children, kids just as much as anybody else. But right now, do we want to do that just for our selfish reasons because it's cute and it makes for good pictures and yay, it's fun? Or do we want to? This is a lifetime. Like
yeah,
this kid, is going to grow up to face the next 75, 80 years potentially of what, and
mm,
it could be a beautiful thing. It could be, it's a chance just like anything else. Right.
yeah,
But at this point right now, I know I'm not getting any younger, but it's all good. Whatever happens, happens,
yeah.
if it happens, it was meant to be.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't, then
exactly. That's kind of how I played it, because I'm 52. I'm kind of a little bit old to have a 5-year-old. In some ways, I feel old, and then some ways I feel kind of blessed because that you have a
right?
little bit more life experience and you think about things a little
Exactly.
bit more. And maybe when I was younger, I could probably handle the energy levels a bit better. But then
You
maybe I
could,
wouldn't
but now
be.
you're wiser,
Yeah, yeah. So it's
So it might
interesting.
be better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's debatable. I mean, I think of everything now. I break down his education, and I'm looking like, I was looking at something today on schools, and this really cool post saying like how schools just train you to sit down and shut up and don't question anything and da 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 da. Some schools. And I was thinking, yeah, that's so true. They're sort of left over from the Industrial Revolution, where they just wanted people to be sat and doing something and not thinking
Yeah.
and not making a sound or not raising any objections, not thinking for yourself. And I'm like, oh my God, is that what I'm doing to my son in school? And yeah, it's really
It's
scary.
scary
Yeah. Well, we
because
do
they
have
need
that.
the education, right? But then,
Well, they need
what comes with that,
they
right?
need to
What comes along
communicate.
with
They need to be able to communicate with the other kids and that kind of stuff
Mhm.
that he does struggle with a bit. I mean, he's done jujitsu since he was 2. So this he gets a really good, he rolls around with other kids, and he has bigger kids that he looks up to, and they set a good example for him with the jiu-jitsu code. So that's been like a godsend,
Yeah, definitely keeps them active, keeps them engaged.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it teaches him to be physical, because kids often want to
Mhm.
throw their weight around, and you need to know, not to hurt somebody, but you also need to be able to play physically.
Sure.
Yeah,
Know your own strength, right?
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
an adventure, and when it comes to you guys, it's I recommend it. Super tiring, and it's a big challenge, and your life changes a lot, but I wouldn't change
Oh,
it for
yeah,
the
but
world, But
of course, of
I
course.
spent a long time doing stuff exactly what I wanted to do.
Yep.
So that was a
So,
big
see,
adjustment.
fair enough, man, and look, you're happy about that, I could tell, because some people don't, and some people, it happens way early for them, and, they kind of feel maybe they
Begrudge.
missed out on some things.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say numerous times, there's never a right time. You'll never be ready to have a child. It's just,
Mhm.
you just got to work with it. You just got to, it becomes part of life. And I totally get that. But maybe right now isn't that time for me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool. Um, and what did Morgan do when she was living in the US before she came here?
Oh, she was working at the shipyard. That's how we
Ah,
met.
yeah,
She was
okay,
working
yeah,
at the
you said.
shipyard there. But before that, she had graduated college recently, and she has a psych degree. And she ended up working as like an intern in the shipyard, and then she obviously grew, and that's how we met.
Okay,
So
cool,
yeah.
cool. And I was just trying to think why she had this, why she sort of had this development, this real love for moving to Europe and a fascination. I thought maybe she was doing history or something like that.
When she was young, she actually told me this, and when she was young, she watched the movie Mamma Mia, the ABBA movie.
Ah, yeah.
Maybe you're familiar with it. I think it was Mamma Mia 2, she said. But she loves ABBA, and she's a different gal. If you look at my wife Morgan and you put her next to her family, she's definitely the one that stands out.
Hmm.
And she always had this dream as I guess maybe a teen, maybe to go and live life in Europe because it looked beautiful in the movie. And does that sound outrageous? Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had that in her head. And then, you meet this Portuguese dude, and here he comes from Massachusetts. Somehow he ends up in Virginia, and he's, one day thinking about moving to
Sure.
Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it was an easy yes for her,
That's
if
cool.
that makes sense.
That's
So
cool.
it worked out. It's crazy, right? Some people, I know I mentioned this probably a lot, especially to people that I talk to. The world, the universe, God, whatever it is you go for, has a funny way of connecting people
Mhm.
and just making it all work. Making it sometimes, and when it doesn't work, hopefully you learn from that and don't repeat the same mistake
Yeah.
2-3 times.
Luckily, it
It's just
results in positivity more often than negativity. Really, I found.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a cool thing. So she moving to Europe to her, Portugal, absolutely. And now, I'm showing her even before she came here, and before we moved here, I was teaching her, Portuguese.
Mhm.
Sure, it was Azorian Portuguese. So it's funny because
Mhm.
we hired her a tutor she's from Lisboa. And we just met her the other day here for a hangout. Her and her husband came down. I made a video out of it. So did Morgan. But she started, she was a language tutor. So she started teaching Morgan Portuguese, but it was proper Portuguese, something you'd probably find on the mainland. So she would tell Morgan, she's like, you have an Azorian a stock, and we have to get rid of
Yeah.
that. She's not wrong because she's trying to teach her the proper Portuguese. But what I taught my wife was I didn't even realize what I was teaching her was Azorian
Yeah.
Portuguese. So
Nice. Nice.
fortunately, she still sounds Azorian. So
Yeah.
I'll keep
That's
that. I
nice.
like that.
I think it's
I
nice.
think so.
I had a little bit of Algarvian in mine, and now I'm sort of adapting a little bit Alentejo. But Rita, she's from Lisboa, so she speaks the sort of the posh Portuguese, but she speaks so fast
Ah,
that I find
yes.
it really hard to understand what she's saying.
You have to tell her to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. She has to be more Alentejo with her with how she speaks, because here I can understand quite well. Everyone speaks a little bit slower, and they have the Gerundio. Is it the Gerundio? I think it is, where they have the like andando, like everything is ongoing.
Yeah, it's not like a twang, but it's like an emphasis on that finish of the word, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I kind of find it a little bit easier to understand, but Azorian, I couldn't tell the difference. But I mean, we love to go to Azores. We've been to São Jorge a few times, and but
Oh,
I
I have yet
haven't.
to go to South Shores.
Oh, it's so nice, and we haven't. I haven't really noticed. I don't have an ear yet enough to notice the Azorian accent, but. No, no, but I'll try and pay a bit more attention to it. But I'm sure, like
You
each
know what,
island has its own.
Justin?
Yeah.
Growing up with two, accent different Portuguese parents, I didn't realize I had a Azorian accent as well.
Mhm.
But now when I talk to my father on the phone, and I'm like, dang, I hear it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my wife and I'll tell him how do you say this? How do you say that? And he'll say it, and I'm like, dang, I never caught that. Like
Yeah.
we do
Interesting.
sound different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, UK. I'm originally from the UK, and like my parents,
Mhm.
I never really noticed that either. And my father was more from the Midlands, although I think he made a really big effort when he was younger to speak a little bit more posh, because he didn't
Uh-huh.
have such a strong sort of Midlands accent as his brother did or his father. So I think he definitely made more of an effort to change his accent. My mom is more from the northwest, and I never really realized that they had an accent until I sort of paid a
Right.
little bit more attention to it, which is crazy.
Similar
Yeah,
situation here,
real
Justin.
similar, real similar. So, yeah. Well, what do you think you guys have got planned for the? Do you ever think you'll return to the Azores?
Yeah, for sure, dude. We honestly, if I could tell you a little story, we wanted to move to San Miguel. That was our first choice.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against the mainland at all, but I had been to the mainland a few times because I had a grandparent.
This episode of Podcast Portugal is brought to you by Algarve Care Services, offering professional, reliable English-speaking home care and lifestyle support across the Algarve, and now expanding into Coimbra, Lisbon, Cascais, Sintra, and Porto over the next few months. Whether you're retiring here, supporting an aging parent, or simply seeking someone you can trust with day-to-day life, Algarve Care Services brings compassion, local knowledge, and real peace of mind to families from all over the world. Now, this is a type of service that's really close to my heart. My father died this last year, fairly recently, and he was suffering for over 25 years with Parkinson's disease. It was a real concern before he died for my family members because my father was an ex-England rugby player. He was 6'4". Although he'd lost a lot of weight, my mum used to say to me, how am I going to move this guy out of bed? Because he no longer could walk. In the UK, it would have taken 4 care providers to help him just to go for the bathroom every day. So, we'll be speaking with Kelly Dugmore from Algarve Care Services and founder. She is also the CEO in an upcoming episode to learn more about her story and her mission to make care in Portugal more dementia-friendly and accessible to those with mobility issues. Visit algarvecare.com via the link in the show notes to see how they can support your life here in Portugal. Pretty cool. I give a nice insight for people because I've really just discovered in Portugal there's so much to see and so many new things that I
There
keep
is
learning about
a ton
after
of stuff.
13 years,
It's like there's something new that I find almost daily.
Yeah.
So let's do the top 5 things to do around here. Let's see. What if you're coming here to visit, can you hear me, Justin?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. If you're coming here to visit and you're in the Avid area where my wife and I live, I would definitely probably get the touristy things out of the way. Like I would go do the Mugliceiro, which is like the kind of like the gondolas in Italy,
I like
and
Little
they take
Venice or
you.
something. Okay.
Yep, exactly. It's
Okay. Let's-
Avid is the
let's-
Venice of Portugal is what it's
Okay,
called.
so let's get the location of this right. So Aveiro. No, it's not Aveiro. Aveda, is it? It's the one.
No, you're right. You said it right. Avid. Well, Aveiro. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
it's
just
the
got
one where
the
it's
O
got
back.
the long sandy beach with the rocky groins, and then there's like a kind of inlet, isn't there? There's like a river inland or something, and
yes.
okay, that's a cool town. I've been there. I
There's
like that.
this. So you would want to do that. I have never done it personally, but my wife did do it, and she, she thought it was just a boat ride, not taking any credit away from it, but it's kind of cool. You just go down the canal. I think some of the tour guide give you a brief like history, and then get to see under the bridge and stuff. It's really cool. Another thing I would do close to those Muyassage are the bridge, the friendship. I forget what it's called in Portuguese, but it's essentially a bridge of friendship, a ribbon bridge of friendship. And yes, Pontos Amigos, but with a ribbon, because you go to one of the local stores or you bring your own ribbon and you can write your name and a message and whatever you want on it, and you can tie the ribbon there and it stays there forever. So my wife and I did that when we first got here. That's something more like, it can be, if you got that, you do it as a family, do it with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. I think it's something cool like that, your significant other. Just kind of touristy thing to do. So that's two, and definitely try a pastel de nat. I try and eat pastel de nat at least one a day, because I figured they're about 200, 250 calories, depending where you're getting it from. So I make them fit into my nutrition, my daily nutrition habits.
I've never had one. Would you believe? 13 years of doing it, I've never had one. Well, I figured it's better not to try these things, otherwise I'm going to end up eating it. And then I'm always trying to, count my calories and stuff, because I love
Justin,
food.
if you have one a day, you can get away with it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. No, I really couldn't.
I would. Me too, man. I sometimes I allow myself one day a week to just kind of eat as much as I want. And if I have 6 in front of me, that's it. They're gonna be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely try pastel de nat. They talk about ovos molles big time here, and people suggest trying that. The only ovos molles that I've tried, which means just I think
egg something, right? Egg custard.
I think it's soft eggs. Mold, right. I think, is soft eggs. But it's like an egg custard. But they have it in the sobremesas here everywhere. In the desserts, you go to a cafe and you get a dessert. It's got like ovos molles as its filling. So, you've eaten that. You've eaten this ovos molles, but you can go to the actual ovos molles store, the main one in Avid down in city center, and get a box to go or have one there. And I'd say the last one to do, so that was all like touristy. If you're in a vid, I would say if you're going to venture out, either go visit Lisboa or Porto, because it's definitely or both, and
just walk around. That's what I love doing there.
Yeah, just walk around, be a tourist for a day, and kind of just take pictures and make memories. It's a lifetime of beauty right there.
Yeah.
So there's that huge bridge, as you probably know, Justin, that in Porto, that beautiful bridge that people love taking pictures on, and it's a cool place to make memories. It's definitely breathtaking when you get up there,
Yeah, we like Porto. We have cousins live up there, so when we go visit, we literally go on just like big walks around for the whole day. Cross
it's
one
definitely
bridge,
get
walk all the way around, cross the other bridge, and go to the Harry Potter library. Eat.
I have not been there yet. I'm not even a Harry Potter fan. No offense.
Yeah,
right?
me
but
too.
I would love to see that. I think that'd be so cool.
Well, we actually walked past it because there was like a queue that halfway down the street. So I just sort of looked through the windows. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got one for you, dude. One more. Let me add one more too. If you're going to be around this area, you should go to. You should go to Óbidos. Óbidos has like a fort built around this town, and you can go in, and there's shops and cafes, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I've been there.
What a beautiful town. So cool. What a historic thing. And you get up, you can climb as high as you really want, and you look out and you see the town and city and this vast land in front of you, and you're thinking back in the day, people were guarding this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're like looking out, and you're like, "Whew, what a people were here." Yeah. Like hundreds of years ago. It's just fascinating.
It's a huge story around the Templars and stuff around Óbidos. And actually, quite near there, we visited another castle. Is a Templar stronghold, and it's pretty much just a tower, and it's in the middle of a river. You have to get like a little boat to it.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, that is really cool. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but people can search for it. But that is a really cool place, and that has a lot of history with the Templars, because it was somewhere where they hid a lot of the gold. Yeah, that's a super nice place to go. And along that river as well, there's some really cool river beaches and stuff. You can spend some time chilling out in the water and that. So
Just kinda getting lost with nature, just kinda chill out, fall asleep on the beach.
yeah, and go have a look around the castle, chill out on the beach,
Yeah,
have some lunch.
so cool.
Yeah,
Where else could you do that, bro? Where else
I
could you
know.
do that in the world? I'm sure there's other places, but I mean, that's what it phew, the history here is unbelievable,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. Yeah, I'm. The history is crazy. I've had actually some of the most popular podcasts that we've had is with a guy called Freddie Silva. He actually lives in. Oh, let me guess now. I'm not sure if he's from Massachusetts as well, but
I wonder if we're
he's
related.
Portuguese.
We have the same last name, and if he's from
Yeah,
Massachusetts, we're
Freddie
related. Azorian
Silva.
style, possibly. I wonder if he's from the Azores, if his family's
Maybe,
from
yeah,
the Azores.
he could very well be, but he's a writer and he writes about the Templar Knights and he's just written about the megaliths of Portugal as well. So some really cool podcasts
No
on there
kidding,
and the
huh?
history. Yeah, and he actually runs tours. He does some tours to. There's a big Templar castle up near you. Jesus, I'm so bad with names. There was two big Templar castles up. You actually go on a pilgrimage to Fatima, and near Fatima, there's two big castles. I can't remember the name of them.
So cool. Dude, there's I think in Evora. I might be
Yeah,
absolutely wrong, so
that's really near to me. That's a cool place.
so have you heard of that, it's a church made out of bones?
Yeah. That is really cool.
Wicked cool. Dude, I've been hearing about this church since I was a little boy. My mom, she's from Vidigueira, so she was familiar with Evora. She'd been
Yeah.
telling me about this church and how it was kinda eerie to her, and she wouldn't wanna go in there. Ever since I was a kid, I'd be like, "Dang, that'd be so badass to visit."
Yeah.
And, we're gonna do it, I think, in next month. We're gonna check
Yeah.
it out.
Well, if you do that, you should give us a call, man, because we're literally about an hour south of there, and from
You're
there as
not too
well.
far from there?
Nah, not too far at all. And then if you do that sort of tour, there is also Moura, Elvas,
Yep, I've heard of
Serpa,
that.
all of these crazy places on that sort of Spanish Portuguese border where they built these
Yeah.
big castles to keep the Spanish out.
No kidding,
Yeah,
dude.
some
I think
really
we're
cool
actually staying
places.
there a night. I think
Uh,
we're actually staying there a night, so, I'll hit you up before we, go there and see if you guys
yeah,
wanna get
man,
together
that'd be
for maybe
cool.
a coffee or a
Yeah, that'd be
vino or
cool.
something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Have a lunch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or if you wanna check out that castle too, you're welcome to come along. I think it'd make for,
yeah,
great
we've
time.
never been. I've never been to that Bone Castle. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sweet. My son will be going crazy. He loves bones.
You'll probably love it, right?
Yeah,
As a kid, I would've loved that,
Can you
but,
imagine?
that was me. That was me.
Yeah. He's so into hunting and things like that. He's always picking up dead animals and sort of getting their bones and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's so many places, and we haven't even sort of ventured sort of to the Algarve or the West Coast. Man, there is something that I really want to do. Talking about top 5 places to visit and top things to do, I really want to sail a boat from Sines down the coast, down the Alentejo, and then Algarve coast, and then you come in on the south coast like you're going to Spain, and then there's a river that you can come up. I think it's called the Guadiana. You can sail up all the way up the river, right back into Alentejo again, up
No
near.
kidding. And how long would that take you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't looked at it more than just a dream. But yeah, we thought about that, because sailing up that river would be really, really cool. It
That would
literally
be
goes all the
what a
way up
sight.
nearly to Algarve, which is a big dam, like a big lake up there. It sort of meanders up the sort of Spanish-Portuguese border. And with all the hill forts and hill towns up there, it's really cool, man. Yeah.
Wicked cool. I love the older I get, especially being here, the more I, have a newfound love for we're walking on territory that's been walked on and ridden on and fought on for thousands of years, man. I know it gets pretty, like, in my head, it gets pretty, like, deep, right? But I'm like, this is such a beautiful place. There's so much history here that you could go anywhere really here, Justin, and probably be like, dang, look at that fountain that
Yeah.
it still shoots out water, and this thing was probably built like 150 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Portugal is one of the oldest states. It's one of the oldest countries that has remained the similar border throughout time. I think that I've got that right. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me.
And then with all the
So
discoveries and stuff, and then and the involvement of the Azores and Madeira in the discoveries, and Vasco da Gama and the Alto do Mar as well. That is super interesting. You know, like sailing to America on the winds down in the south from Azores,
crazy,
and then working out that you can go up the eastern seaboard of the States, and then you can sail back with the North Atlantic winds to return. You know, I think that
right. I can't even get to 25 minutes from where I am without GPS sometimes. You know, these guys are figuring out how to go around the world on sail. You know what I'm saying?
And then there's that great history, because a lot of the Islamic history in Spain and Portugal, they were translating a lot of these stuff, navigation from the Greeks and the Romans and Sumerians. They were translating it. And then when we had the Reconquistadors, they kind of then took a lot of the Arabic texts and translated it in the Renaissance. And then therefore that all of that cultural mixing and different research and translations all came with the navigation techniques to make all the discoveries in those centuries. For me, that's just so crazy. And what makes our history and the mix of cultures so important, you know, because it really does.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I love it. So what are the top 5 places, Justin, that we're going to recommend here? So
let's go.
I think people, top 5 places, like as in like sites specifically or areas?
Yeah, however you want to package it.
Let's see. I definitely think Aved, where I live, is a cool place to visit. It's got a lot of touristy things. Like I said, Lisbon, Porto, definitely cool. I think visiting, trying to go down to the Alentejo, because the temperature's different, especially if you're going to come here in the summer. I think it's warmer down there, right, Justin?
Yeah, you don't want to come here in mid-August. Like right now, I'm up in the attic studio, and I have to turn all the fans off because of the noise, and it's like 32
It's too hot.
degrees in here.
Dang, dude, you are sweating right now.
Outside it can be like 42 degrees, but you know, sort of either side of the season, like the springtime or autumn or even wintertime, is really nice down here. You have that beautiful sort of temperature. But midsummer, if you want to go around castles and climbing up hills and stuff, it's probably a good idea not to. You won't see anybody in Alentejo during the afternoon.
You won't see anybody doing that kind of thing, right?
You might hear some people moving around at 7 a.m. in the morning and doing stuff, and then by 11 o'clock, it's like a ghost town everywhere. People have lunch, and then you don't see them outside. Yeah. So, definitely recommend.
You know, that was an adjustment for me here, Justin, was the 1.5, 2 hour lunch. Siestas that happens here. I think it's great. I mean, could you imagine back? I've never had that. I've had like 20, 30-minute lunches back in the States when we were, here. My problem is like, the day, I don't realize what time it is. And I go to the store because I got to print something up, from a printer, because I didn't bring my printer with me. That thing was huge. And, sorry, we're closed until 1400. And I'm like,
if you're lucky.
Yes, you are.
Well.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And so that's when More Cafe comes in and hanging out with the wife and doing other errands that we need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good excuse, because then it directs everybody to have lunch, in town. So it keeps the restaurants in business.
It's the conspiracy, isn't it? They're all open, aren't they? Yeah, it's smart.
Exactly. I was speaking to a businessman, like a Portuguese. He's half Belgian, half Portuguese, and he's like, he has a Michelin star restaurant up in the north, and he was saying, like, the big adjustment he made when he returned to Portugal is that he does all of his business in his restaurant during lunchtime. So he has all of his international clients. They come over, and he books a lunch, and he makes all of the big deals, all the agreements, all of the business meetings. It's all with wine and with petiscos and beautiful
bread
food.
And manteiga and laughter. And isn't that a beautiful thing?
Exactly. And he's like, I don't make any business outside of lunchtime,
Right.
That's actually why his family built this restaurant, was literally because they have a textile company. and they had clients coming from all over the world. And they were like, we need to entertain them because our textile
that's
buildings are in the
fantastic.
middle of nowhere. So
that is cool.
Yeah, and out of that came a Michelin star restaurant, a vineyard, and
That
all this
is
stuff.
really cool.
Yeah.
There's a cool history to that, man.
Yeah, it's super nice.
They built it for their clients, and it's still operating today.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere and he said, like, that's the way we need to do business. We need to spread that around the world. I was like, yeah, I'm up for that.
You notice that the love language in Portugal is comida. It's food.
Yeah, exactly. I don't ever...
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you, dude.
No, go.
Our Portuguese vizinha, she is always cooking something up for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very well fed with her. She's fantastic. She's amazing. She makes the best Portuguese food I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah.
And I had a Portuguese family growing up. My avó, who was from the Açores, she lived in Florida too, and her sopa was top notch, but definitely competitive with my Portuguese singers sopa here. She makes the greatest food.
I have my mother-in-law staying at the moment. She makes really nice seafood mariscos. I really like that.
You enjoy that?
Yeah. Anything to do with the seafood and seafood rice or octopus cataplana. If you have down the south, that's definitely a thing that you to do if you're around like the southwest coast between Sagres and Arifana, Algesur, is go for like seafood octopus cataplana with sweet potato. Ooh, that is delicious, really.
Justin, I tried octopus twice and I can't do it.
No, really? You didn't watch that octopus story, on Netflix? Ever since
No, I did not.
No, ever since then, because I hunt octopus as well, spearfishing, and I just feel absolutely terrible when I kill one. But they're so good and so nutritious.
Really?
And and I feel, which I shouldn't. It's silly because it's no different from a fish, or we try to treat all animals equal, but it's.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you do have a conscience at the end of the day, right? You feel bad. It's still a life that you're taking, but you're going to pay, you're probably going to consume it all. So
yeah. It's a difficult one. We had that when we had our chickens. I'm sure you got chickens by now as well.
Right.
Your homestead.
Chickens.
And my missus, she was like, "Oh, we could eat some of these chickens." And she's vegetarian, so she wouldn't eat them. But I said, yeah, but, and I had this really good excuse because I kind of got quite close to my chickens, and I was calculating how many eggs that these hens produced. I was like, well, really just to kill one to eat for one meal, and they're producing eggs for 3-4 years, it's not worth it. So,
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. You do develop a slight bond to them, and you're like, maybe I shouldn't name them next time,
Yeah, exactly. It's actually
kind of makes it even worse.
They're actually really fragile chickens. They they can get diseases pretty quickly, and then poof, your flock is dead. So
it's done.
Yeah, they take quite a bit of work. What other animals do you have on your homestead?
We have chickens, ducks. We have geese. We have ferrets, peacock.
Ferrets? No way.
Goats?
Okay, cool. How'd you manage your goats?
Goats are cool.
Yeah.
They're cool. There's a little one, a white one. It's real cool. She's real sweet. I thought it was a male goat, so I named him Harvey, but it's a female. So, it works, whatever, Yeah. But she's really sweet. And there's like a bigger, like not a little bit bigger goat in there, and he kind of bullies her around. I'm like, hey, leave Harvey alone, So it's funny to see them all interact with each other. Yeah. We have, just.
You make cheese. You make cheese,
and there's like, of course. No, I don't think. I don't think they our landlords do that. No, there's also cows and stuff, and horses, and in other areas. So, but we we don't make cheese. I think they used to make a lot of wine. His dad, I think used to make a lot of wine because we have the old barrels here in our basement.
Oh no way! Really?
I want to make a video. Yeah, they're so cool, man. I want to make a video of it because I think people would be interested to see, because that's going to resurrect a ton of memories. It did for me. You know what I mean? So I think there'd be a ton of barrels, ton of equipment down there, stuff that I don't even know what it is. But he's got the trough down there where they used to step in on the grapes. And
no way!
Really,
that kind of stuff. I'm trying to find that stuff, because like I was watching this YouTube channel of a guy He's actually from the US as well, and he's moved back to Portugal, and he's renovating his grandfather's house, and he finds all of these old, like really cool tools, like real mechanical tools, like a corn husk, like a grinder for corn, and a wine press, and we have. It's a shame because we have about 150 meters of wine, like grapes, right now. They're just bursting, and we don't make wine, and we eat as much grapes as we can, but it just seems such a waste because
Yeah, I totally understand. We
what,
have
like
that going on
grape
right
juice
now
maybe.
too, because you can't eat them all, you know?
Yeah, and so I'm really looking for to get at least like a juice press. At least we can change it into press it into grape juice, and maybe we can freeze it or make ice lollies for it for the kids. But I'm tempted to try make wine, but
it's a lot of work.
yeah, someone.
I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah.
Beeping.
You just won a football match, right?
Did you hear that beeping?
Yeah. Was it a football match?
I'm going to tell you what that is. No,
the bread guy. No,
every day it's the bread guy comes early at 6:15.
Okay.
This is the fish guy.
The fish man
comes down, blowing his horn all the way down the street. People flag him down if they want fresh fish. The first week or two we lived here, I was like, babe, there is a madman out there just beeping his horn all the way down the road. Nope, it's the freaking fish guy. It's I think it's great. But then shortly after, probably about 45 minutes later, the fish lady comes by beeping, and it's kind of like a competition. You know what I mean? So who has the freshest fish?
Yeah, who gets to the market first as well?
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. No, we don't. Well, of course, we don't have that in Alentejo. It'd be a little bit too far for fresh fish, but yeah.
And we also have the pong guy, the bread guy, like you said. He's early. He's about 6:15 a.m. I see him. He cuts his engine off. Radio's still on in the truck. Walks around at like 3 pop 6. Flips him around, ties him, hangs him on this little knob. Comes back in, cranks his engine out.
Yeah.
Every day it's the same thing, dude.
So good.
It's so fun. It's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, because the bread here, like if you buy the bread from the supermarket, you can't really buy. You have to eat it pretty much that day, or at least the next day, and then toast it after because it's got no additives and preservatives in it. It just doesn't.
Dude, do you know that's like that with almost everything we eat here? Like I find that if I have something more than 3 days, it's already got mold on it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, well, I'm not eating that.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the preservatives in it, which is a blessing. I've always found that if I go back to the UK for any length of time, like I'll eat even less or similar quantities of food, but I'll put weight on. As soon as I move back to Portugal and start eating off the farm and just the normal stuff with no preservatives or no additives and that kind of stuff, I'll start to shred again, Really crazy.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how that holds on to your cells? And just it shows, it makes a difference in how you look, how you perform in everyday life, everyday activities, how your joints feel, because as we get older, obviously we feel this stuff, right? And you notice that if you eat like crap 2 days in a row, like if you eat a lot of, I don't know,
spaghetti. I can't eat spaghetti, man. Even the spaghetti here, I cannot eat it. It just ruins me.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. And then you feel like crap. And then the next day you feel like you got this hangover. It's like a food hangover and your joints hurt. It's just not like it was when, you were 25, 28 years old.
Well, I think also there is a lot of endocrine disruptors in the foods. I don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they're gonna discover it much later on, and there's going to be lots of scandals and lawsuits. But I feel that I feel, especially when you get older, I think maybe you're more sensitive to your hormones and stuff. So I think there's definitely disruption going on with the endocrine system with some of the foods and preservatives and maybe even microplastics. Who knows? But scary stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff over time, we don't even see it until it's too late. All that stuff over time, all that buildup, even if it's just a little bit, that stuff is not good for you at all.
Because where are the long-term studies? There is no long-term study because you don't study someone over 50 years of the buildup of these toxins. You study them for like a year or 6 months or.
So I'd say go to Fatima. Here's another place. My wife and I, a couple of months ago, we went to Bom Jesus in Braga, and it's this like old monastery, I think, but it's huge. and the bells will toll, and you can climb up it. There's a ton of stairs. Climb up, you could see over pretty much the whole city. What a gorgeous sight. You park your vehicle there off the side of the road. It gets busy on the weekends. You can have a picnic off to the side. There's some shade. There's some picnic tables. And then, you walk into the place, which is Bons Azuis, and this place is enormous, dude. And you just make a day out of it. Not a day, but you just make an hour out of it, hour and a half. You go up it, you take pictures, you listen to the tolls of the bell. You just enjoy your life around you for that moment. It's a beautiful sight. I would definitely recommend.
Yeah, I've not heard of that one. That's
and
new for
let's
me.
see,
That's a new one for me for sure.
just if you're ever around the area, it's definitely worth the sight to see. In my recommendation, that's in Braga, and then I would. People really, really love a place called Stubble. And I've been there a couple of times because my dad, after he left the Açores, he lived in Stubble for a few years. So he would always ramp up Stubble as being a hot spot, especially probably because he was in his teen years. So he really enjoyed it. And I've been to Stubble a couple of times. I know they have really nice beaches.
Yeah,
I have an aunt that lives there and a couple of cousins. They live in Stubble. And I think if you're around the area, I think it's worth probably.
Argibada. I can't say it very well, but it's like the Park de Sierra de Argibada.
Is that in Stubble?
Yeah, that's the big mountain at the beginning of the river, and then opposite the river there you have Troia. I think so, and then Setúbal is a little bit further inland, isn't it, up the river?
Yeah, I think so. Yep,
it's beautiful around there, really, and that whole coast.
So, but here's another place that I want to visit that I recently was reminded of in Portugal, and it's Tomar.
That's what I was trying to think about,
dude.
Man. That's the big Templar place. That I was literally just scrolling to look.
And they that's like the history of Portugal right there, dude. Is what I've heard.
Really crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That's like what Portugal began. So I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. So I have to do some research on that, but I would love to go visit that area and see what that's all about. So I would probably recommend that one, even though I haven't done it, but it's definitely on my to-do list.
Yeah. You should try getting in contact with your long distance cousin Freddie Silva. He does tours around Tomar, like historical tours.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's good. I tried to connect you to. But Tomar, and then there's another kind of big Templar thing up around there as well, which is super cool. But that is.
Yep. I love that stuff.
Yeah. And I think also there are some places up Braga and and sort of the birthplace of Portugal. The first seat of the king was up that way. Wasn't Lisbon, wasn't Porto, but it was Braga or from the Bragança. I know I'm terrible with history like that, but. Yeah, there's so many stories.
I'm trying to get better at it, because I have a better understanding now of it as an adult, and I can appreciate it more.
I tell you, there's a really cool place. Have you ever heard of the Convento? I don't remember the last name, but it's up in Mafra. There is a really good book by who was it? Was it Saramago? But he had it in one of his novels. It's a big palace. And it brought down, as far as I know from the story anyway, it brought down the monarchy of Portugal because the guy, the king at the time, he spent so much money on this palace for his I'm not sure if it was his wife or his mistress, but he spent so much money building this palace in her name that it bankrupted the country, and that's where they decided to get rid of him. Yeah, but it's a big palace, and it's amazing. You can walk around it and everything now. It's beautiful, and but you can only walk around half of it because some of it's in ruins, and I think it still needs quite a bit of work done on it. It needs a nice paint job, but it's beautiful. It's really cool. They actually have one end is the king's chambers, and then all the way down the other end of the house, down this really long corridor is the queen's chambers, and they're decorated exactly as the time of when they were built, and the differences in the two decorative styles is really cool. It's really interesting.
So cool. Is it any different than what do you think it'd be today?
No, I think they've literally recreated everything because it wasn't so long ago. I think the last king, it wasn't so long ago. I need to get my history before I start talking rubbish. I need to have a few more facts to be more interesting. But what I do is I
Fair
recommend
enough. I
I
get that.
recommend people go to Mafra and go to the Convento, something or other. But it has an amazing story. I'm not sure if it's how much of it's the true history and how much of it's sort of from the novel by Saramago. But yeah, he wrote it's a big sort of novel that he wrote about two people that were in this palace. Yeah, very cool.
It's fascinating, man. It's so fascinating to me, the history.
Yeah. So that where we are, number 3. Now, yeah, Tomar. We got to Tomar, and then I've added one there is also Mafra, and we can probably add a few more, right?
Mafra, is probably pronounced Mafra.
Yeah,
Mafra.
yeah. Mafra. That's my
And then I
mom's.
said
That's
Stubble,
my
but
mom's accent
Stubble
coming
isn't
in from the north of England. Mafra.
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 Yeah. Setúbal. Yeah, you said Setúbal. That's actually the area from where my Rita's family originally. She's from Serpa, which is in Alentejo, but they all migrated to Almada, and now her parents live in Ezeitão, which is in Setúbal, just behind those beaches. And so she grew up as a little girl. Like her dad used to have a little boat, and they used to take them to all those little beaches. And off Troia there's like a sand spit that you can get to by a little boat, and you can spend your days having picnics and stuff on that sand spit, at low tide anyway.
So lovely.
Yeah, so she's very familiar with the area. We stayed in Porto as well. That kind of coastline's super nice to visit.
So do you guys know Vidigueira, where my mom was?
No, not really. I know that they make a lot of really good wine. We did go up there for a podcast.
In a zait too, and olive oil too.
A lot of really good olive oil. We did go up there the other day to interview some really nice people that have a regenerative farm up there. But yeah, we didn't actually go into the town. But yeah, it's a cool place. It's lots of good.
Yeah, it's quiet. I mean, I went there in like 2013, I think, and it was like it kind of was nothing. It was kind of quiet, It's just like it wasn't when I remembered as a child. But that was that area where my grandparents, used to live.
Yeah, I think they have the enoturism, the big wine vineyards and stuff. Now they're opening their doors to tourism. I think that's kind of a big thing in this area is the enoturism. Mm-hmm. So you can go sample wine and the local sausages and the black pig and the local cheeses, and you can sample all the wines. It's a big thing around Alentejo at the moment.
Of course.
Really nice thing to do.
Absolutely. I mean, they're known for it,
Yeah, it's really cool. Great. What else do you think? Montchique? Have you been to Montchique?
I have not.
I tell you where.
I honestly want to go anywhere.
There's some really cool places off Faro. There's some islands off Faro with the really cool places. Have you heard about those?
No, I've heard about them, but
some like literally fishermen's houses in the sand, or right on the beach there, like a sand.
No kidding. Spit. No, maybe I haven't heard about these.
You have to get to them by boat, and there's a couple of really nice seafood restaurants on there.
I bet.
We went.
It's all fresh.
Yeah, we went to a wedding there because the restaurant's owned by a friend of mine's parents or family. I'm not sure. So we went to a wedding there, and it was absolutely fantastic. Really cool place.
You know what I want to do eventually is venture out from like mainland area and go visit the rest of the islands, as many as I can of the Azores.
Yeah.
I would love to go back to San Miguel, and I'd love to go check out São Jorge and Terceira and whatever else I can, honestly. But
Florida. What's the other one? Florida.
Yeah. Pico, right?
Yeah. I was talking to a guy yesterday, Adam. His name's Ricardo, but he's got a company called Adamastor Swim, and he's in São Jorge right now, and he does swim tours. So you go stay with him, and he literally gives you a wetsuit, some flippers, and you have to swim. You have to be able to swim at least 500 meters.
No kidding.
Yeah, but you can just swim, and he has these routes where he takes you around the foot of these cliffs and stuff, and you swim around. You see all the fish and stuff like that, and then he takes you for lunch, and it's just a really cool experience.
What a cool experience! He's got that he's got that gig going for him. That's fantastic.
Yeah, man, really, it's good if you know how to swim pretty well. I imagine swimming like 3
Yeah.
kilometers if
Think about it.
you're not a good swimmer.
He's doing exactly what he likes to
Yeah, he
do.
loves it. He absolutely loves it. He says,
That's a
he
beautiful
says, my
thing.
clients, they get a big smile on their face, and that makes my day. I do it for free, he said.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I've always wanted to go around the Azores. I think you have to do it, I think, by some kind of boat. But I don't think you have to, but I think it'd be nice.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, from my experience there, like it's not so easy to access because I've been surfing there a lot. So some of the surf spots are kind of crazy places, and not so easy to get to. So I think going around there, but then.
Oh, it's another good one, Justin? You just made me think of it because of my wife talks about this all the time, where they have a surfing competition here in Portugal, Nazar.
Nazaré. Yeah.
Yeah, Nazaré. Yeah,
Nazaré.
damn, I butchered.
I can't believe I'm correcting your Portuguese.
Learning. Yeah, I'm still learning.
That would be good. Yeah, it's coming up. Actually, man, maybe this Sunday or following week, there's going to be some big waves there. There's a big Atlantic system out there, and it's pumping like 22, 20, 23 wave period. So, which is sort of Nazaré type wave period. So I think it's going to be pumping next week. Some up there. We'll have to go have a look. Yeah,
it's going to be
because they train up there anyway.
That's a good stop. Yeah, that'd be cool. I've taken the train a few times to go to Porto and Lisbon.
Yeah,
and it's quite the experience.
Yeah. What's your thought on this new high-speed rail that they're going to spend? I don't know how many hundreds of million on a high-speed rail link between Porto and Lisbon. I made some comments on a post, and I've got to, because I'm a little bit like, yeah, that sounds really cool for everybody that wants to go between Lisbon and Porto, but what about everybody else in the country,
Right.
And it just feels...
No kidding. No, I'm not familiar with that, actually. I should probably learn more about that. I have... when is this complete?
No, they're planning to build it. They got fun. So there's a big European investment
I guess I should ask,
fund.
Is the plan complete? I guess I should.
Yeah, it's a big plan, and for me, I made some pretty negative comments about it I shouldn't have done really on Instagram, and I just got like hounded by saying, you're just one of these people that are selfish. You just want to drive your car everywhere. And I was like, no, not really. I was just like, look, it's a big political statement to say we're going to spend 680 million euros on a train between Porto and Lisbon. It's like, okay. So then what happens when they get off the train? Where do they go from there? And I was just simply saying, I think with that type of money, you can already use the infrastructure we have to come up with a more integrated system or a travel pass or anything that would suit the whole country. I know here I'm very biased, but we have an airport in Beja which can take an A380. And they can't get a license or a permission to take any like EasyJet or Ryanair or flights from the US. They can't get a license to do it at the moment, even though they have the whole infrastructure there and built. It's an hour and 30 minutes from Lisbon and an hour and 30 minutes from Faro. And both Lisbon and Faro have problems at times with too many airplanes trying to come in at the same time and queues. And
I've heard of that.
And he's crazy. I was like, why can't you build an airport why can't you just give the license to the Beja airport? Right. It'll open up all the Alentejo and bring more economy to the area. But I don't know. They're on about building a new one in the south of Lisbon.
Interesting. Yeah. I have not heard anything about it.
Yeah. But the train, I just got a lot of abuse. And I said, look, when I drive my car on these really cool highways we have here, I really don't mind paying a little bit of money on the Via Verde. The road is really great.
On the Via Verde.
And I go up behind another car and I just put my adaptive cruise control on. And I don't have to have my hand on the steering wheel, and the brake will automatically adjust to the car in front of me. I was like, I'm a train. Basically, you could have a whole lane of people doing that, going between Porto and Lisbon. And that's easy. And then you can just drive off out of the train and go to your home, your front door. That's just sort of saying, look, trains are kind of old-fashioned, a little bit. We could think about something a little bit more interesting, more holistic, not just a big political headline: big train gonna be built, high speed.
You think that's all it
I
is?
don't know. I'm not sure. It's all these big ideas,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Right.
it's
You know,
less
you
sexy
expect
to fill a few potholes in and make a few more dual carriageways in other areas of the country. Doesn't make such a good
it is, isn't it?
headline.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, that's my gripe over and done with. Where were we? Where were we in our top 5 places to visit? Not by train.
I think we said we finished off with Tamar, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh no, Nazareth,
Nazareth.
because we were talking about the
Nazareth, yeah. You have to go there by swell. Anyone wants to go there and see the big waves, they're quite happy for me to.
it's happening soon,
Yeah,
right?
they just send me a text through the website, and I'll give them a good forecast when they can go and see the actual big waves.
Oh, perfect.
They still train there anyway, but it's not always going to be big waves there.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So I think also Arifana is a nice one for people to see. I don't know if you've ever been down there though. That's beautiful. But go in the winter. All these places, I think sometimes in the summer it has enough tourists already. You know, but
yeah, especially Lisbon and Porto. They got a ton of tourists. Even Avid gets a lot of tourists, especially July, August, because
the Portuguese.
it's a mild summer here in this area.
Okay.
You know, if you go to Lisbon, it's a lot hotter.
Yeah.
Than a vid area. And it's not too far. It's only about 3 hours away if you're driving, 3.5. But there's a temperature difference. So a vid is nice because it's a little bit milder, but it does get touristy as well.
Yeah, mostly sort of other Europeans or mostly Portuguese tourists?
You know, that's a great question. It's a mixture of both because you get a ton of people from Germany, France, and you know this because you can hear them talking. And you also get other Portuguese tourists that don't live here, like
from
my
Porto
wife's Portuguese language tutor. Yeah, she's from Lisboa. She spent the weekend here with her husband in Avid because they love the city. So it's cool to see, and they're tourists in their own country. You know, it's no different than if you're in the United States and I went to Florida or, you know, on vacation or, you know what I'm saying, in California. It's no different, but you don't think of it like that because it's Europe. So you're like, why would you go to Portugal if you live in Portugal? Because there's still a ton of history and a lot to see.
We get a lot of that on our nearest beach here near Porto. We get a lot of people coming from Lisbon or from Porto, from the north, and they'll holiday down here for a couple of weeks. Sometimes they even have like an old mont that's still in the family that they use. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a lot of...
Yeah, it's really cool.
But actually, that's another one. Porto. That's another really cool place to.
Porto.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little village. Ericeira is very nice as well. If you go to Mafra and go to visit the palace, it's definitely worth also going to Ericeira.
I'm learning all these places as the days go on because I'm not as familiar with all of Portugal. So learning these is very fun to me because I get to look into them and then I do a little bit of digging and see what they have there, and it's so cool discovering new things here.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, you know, I wish you all the best with your with all your adventures and your endeavors. I definitely always keen to watch your Instagram posts to see what we can be doing and what other places to visit. I think it's always good to share all these.
I appreciate that very much.
And if people want to,
and I appreciate you reaching out and having me on your show. It's very, very kind of you.
It's a pleasure. I love it. I love these long form conversations. This might actually be one of the longest. You know, I think it's super important.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I felt like I was talking to a friend. It was easy.
Yeah,
easy conversation,
I think that's where we want to go to. You know, always at the beginning, it's like, okay, I don't really know this person, and then you sort of start to warm, and you find the familiarities and places you've both seen.
I think we hit it off pretty well right from the beginning.
It's so fun. It's really fun for me to do. I do it because I love it, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I get to have conversations with interesting people, and I think that's so important in our world. You know, we need to talk to each other.
I love that.
Cool, man. And where can other people find you?
Spread the positivity.
Yay! And where
they can find me on. Go ahead, son.
No, you go on. You go on with your links because I'll put all these links in the show notes. So choose your best links.
I appreciate that. So you can find me on TikTok at Louie in Portugal, and you can find me on Instagram at Louie in Portugal as well. And I have a little YouTube channel right now. I'm working on uploading all my videos onto that, and my wife and I are looking at other avenues of social media as well. if you're interested, if you don't mind, can I plug her handle as well? It's my wife. She's Morgan in Portugal, and she's also on TikTok and Instagram as Morgan in Portugal.
Okay, cool.
Together, we share our shenanigans in everyday life, and we love interacting with our fans. We see fans out in public all the time. They say hello to us. We take pictures of them. We post them. It's a great community. People reach out to me all the time telling me, like, oh, you're from my hometown and this and that. Keep up the great work. I'm just sharing my life. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this community that we built, and I'm so blessed. And I appreciate you having me on.
It's all real. It's all relatable. It's not fake. And I'm so tired of all the fake stuff on online, and it's so nice just to hear nice stories about where we live and we all have.
You hear that beeping, Justin?
That's the lady.
The fish lady this time.
I know the difference. That's what I want to know.
Because she always comes later.
Okay. I wonder why she comes later.
She stops by this. Yeah, she comes. She stops by about.
Does she have different fish or something? Maybe she has the ones that.
I don't know. I know my Zinga only purchases the fish from her.
Okay, interesting.
Hell yeah.
All right. Good to know. All right, I'll leave all those links in the bio, on the show notes, in the show summary, and on the website as well, because I'll do a little rundown of this on Podcast Portugal.
When is this? Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I really don't know when it will come out.
I would love to hear this.
Yeah, probably. Okay. No, I really don't know. It could come out next week, maybe the week after. It just depends on scheduling for me as well.
Totally fine.
Sort of how I feel.
Would you? How could I hear it? How can I listen to it?
Yeah, you can listen to it. So you can actually go to podcastportugal.com, and you'll actually be able to download an audio file there if you ever wanted to use it. And then also on there's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. There's another one that I forget.
You're on Spotify too, right?
You can listen to it on there.
That's where I listen to your stuff, is on Spotify. Okay, cool. Excellent. Sounds great.
Also, the Instagram will have, there's also links in the bio there that will take you directly to those podcast players. So plenty of links to links to links.
Your recent one on there, so you know.
Yeah, but
links to links to links. I enjoyed your past one on there. That was pretty cool.
I'm gonna send you. What I'll do is I'll put some Instagram stuff up as well. I'll probably ask you to send me about 5 profile photos for the cover art for the platforms. And maybe even just, I don't know, it could be a little bit of footage of you sitting, looking at the sunset or something. And I'll put a snippet of the audio in the background with some nice music. And we can use that as a reel on Insta to promote the episode. If that's all right with you.
Sounds great. Man. Absolutely. Just let me know what you need.
Thanks, Louie.
When the time comes.
Thank you.
You got it, my friend.
Pleasure,
Thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you so much for your time. This is Justin West.
Take care, bro.
From Podcast Portugal. Out. Did you know that Portuguese bank accounts can sometimes be frozen by the authorities? As someone who's traveled extensively and now runs a business here in Portugal, I value freedom, seamless usability, and bulletproof security. That's why I can't say enough good things about Revolut. With a Revolut account as your backup, you'll still be able to pay bills, receive payments, and keep everything running smoothly, even if you're not in the country. Revolut gives you multi-currency accounts, lets you spend in over 150 currencies at interbank rates, and provides advanced security features like instant card freeze, disposable virtual cards, and safe online shopping. And an app that's as intuitive as it gets. To help support Podcast Portugal, and if you're thinking about setting up a bank account as a backup, click the link in the show notes to sign up for a new Revolut account. It's a win-win situation. You get all the benefits of Revolut, and every time someone signs up, Revolut rewards Podcast Portugal with €40. Revolut, freedom in your pocket. Sign up today and show your support for Podcast Portugal. It's keeping me from my romance, that's the history, the mystery of the century.